All right, welcome. Today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, but we're going to do it without all the hype. The whole point here is to make AI feel less like some scary, complicated thing and more like a useful tool for your business. We're cutting right to what actually matters for you as an entrepreneur.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. I want to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Are you currently wearing at least 3, and probably more like 10, different hats in your business? I'm going to guess for almost everyone listening, that's a huge yes.
I mean, that's just the reality of it, isn't it? You're the owner, but you're also the head of marketing, your customer service, you're the accountant. Heck, you're probably the one taking out the trash at the end of the day. You're doing it all, and that means you are stretched thin.
So what if you had an assistant who could work around the clock, 24/7, never asks for a coffee break, never needs a vacation? Sounds pretty amazing, right? But here's the catch. What if that same assistant, every now and then, just completely makes things up and says them with 100% confidence? Well, that's AI in a nutshell. And today, we're going to learn how to use it wisely, not blindly.
Okay, so let's try to clear up some of the fog around this whole topic. What is AI really? The most important thing to get in your head is this. It's an incredibly powerful tool for sure, but it is not a perfect brain. At its core, AI is basically software that's just brilliant at one thing, recognizing patterns. It sifts through these gigantic piles of data, all the text on the internet, millions of images, and it learns to predict what's most likely to come next. It's not thinking, it's calculating probabilities. That's why we call it a probability engine, not a brain.
And, it's just as important to talk about what AI is not. It is absolutely not always correct. It can and will confidently tell you things that are just plain wrong. We call these hallucinations. It is not a replacement for your judgment, and it doesn't understand things the way a human does, with context and emotion. It's not a magic wand for your business strategy.
This is probably the best analogy I've ever heard for it. Think of AI like a really good gym spotter. It's there to help you lift more than you could on your own. It makes you stronger, but it's not doing the exercise for you. You still have to show up and do the work. The second you let the spotter lift the weight, your own muscles start to get weaker. Same idea.
Okay, enough with the theory, right? Let's get practical. Where can this flawed but very powerful new assistant actually help you in your business, like today? We're going to look at 4 really key areas. So, first up, marketing and content. You know that feeling of staring at a blank page? Yeah, AI can just obliterate that for social media posts or emails. Second, customer communication. It can help you draft those professional-sounding replies in seconds. Third, operations and admin. Think summarizing your meeting notes or creating project checklists. And fourth, research and planning, like getting a quick overview of your competitors.
Okay, let's look at a super real-world example. Imagine you're in a rush. You quickly type out an email to a new potential client on your phone. It gets the point across, sure, but it might not sound as polished as you'd like, right? Especially if English is your second language. And now, look at this. You take that same rough draft, give AI a simple command like, make this more professional, and boom, you get this. It's the exact same information from the exact same person, but this version sounds professional. It sounds warm. It sounds confident. It helps your communication reflect the quality of the work you already do.
So how do you actually get results like that? How do you get the after and not just more the before? Well, it all comes down to one single skill. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this changes everything. It's learning how to write a good prompt.
So a really solid prompt, a great prompt, has 5 key parts. Think of it like a recipe. First, give it a role. Act as an expert marketing assistant. Then state your goal. Write 3 Facebook posts. Next, provide context. My business is a house cleaning service for busy local families. Then set some constraints. Keep the tone warm and friendly. And finally, tell it the output format. Please number the posts 1 through 3. The more specific you are, the better the results you're going to get. Here's another way to think about it, and I love this one. Giving AI a vague prompt is like hopping in a taxi and saying, "Take me somewhere nice." I mean, who knows where you'll end up? But giving it a specific prompt is like saying, "Take me to the Italian restaurant on White Avenue." Same car, same driver, but a completely different and much better outcome. All right, we've talked about all the cool stuff, but it would be totally irresponsible of me not to talk about the risks. So let's cover how to use this tool safely and how to steer clear of some of the really common pitfalls.
So there are really 4 big things you got to watch out for. Number 1, hallucinations. That's when the AI just invents facts. You have to double-check anything important. 2. Privacy. Please never, ever input sensitive client information or personal data. 3. The shiny object trap. Don't chase every new AI tool. Just focus on what actually helps you. And 4. Losing your voice. Don't let AI's kind of generic tone water down your unique brand.
And when it comes to privacy, listen, this is the only rule you need to remember. It's so simple, but it's crucial. If you wouldn't be comfortable posting that information publicly on Facebook for the whole world to see, then do not paste it into a tool like ChatGPT. Period.
So, what's the right way to think about working with AI? I want you to remember the 10-80-10 rule. You, the expert, provide the first 10%. That's the core idea, the strategy, the detailed prompt. Then you let AI do the middle 80%. That's the heavy lifting, the drafting. But then, and this is the most important part, you come back in and provide the final 10%. That's your expert eye, your edit, your final touch, your voice. You are always in charge.
Okay. Wow. We've covered a lot, haven't we? What AI is, how to use it, what to watch out for, which kind of leads to the million-dollar question. So, where do you even begin? It can feel like a lot. And you know what? The answer is actually pretty simple. Start small. Just pick one tiny, annoying task this week and see if AI can help you with a first draft. Stay critical. Always check its work. And most importantly, always keep your voice. Let AI be a tool that assists your effort, not something that erases your identity. It's not here to replace your grit or your creativity, but it just might help you wear all those hats a little more easily.